On In Radio, on YouTube, and now podcasting on iTunes, Pocket Casts, and Omni Studio, I'm James Cridland, the radio futurologist. Back in September, Michael Mason, who's in charge of the Australian ABC's radio division, sent all staff an email detailing the future for the ABC in 2020. It's an email that you should hunt out. It's a good, cogent piece of both future-gazing and strategic planning, and it's one that you might want to read for your own company. One of the stations it covers is RN.
Hello, you're with All in the Mind on RN. I'm Lynn Malcolm. Today, a shift in approach to mental health services. Using
RN, which stands for Radio National, is much like NPR or BBC Radio 4. It contains news programmes and documentaries, carefully authored programmes that go into real depth about a subject.
ECPR is one of several steps recommended by Daniel Fisher to change the paradigm of the mental health system.
One part of the ABC strategy says, "One of our priorities is to get better at surfacing and sharing RN's quality genre specialist content, shifting more from linear to digital platforms and driving new audiences." This has been lazily characterised in the press and the chat rooms as the ABC planning to switch off RN's transmitters and make the entire radio station podcast only. And they're not. Instead, this is a fundamental rethink of making radio content, and it's one that I've been, over the years, quietly calling for. A station like RN or BBC Radio 4 or NPR might have, say, an hour's programme focused on regional farming. On the programme grid, that makes great sense. Fill 57 minutes of output on that stuff each week, off you go. And on the radio, it kind of works. Each week, you can probably sit beside your radio and enjoy that programme, probably with a repeat later on in the week. The difficulty is that an hours-long programme doesn't make for great digital content. Very few people will have time to listen to an hour's worth of on-demand audio, and it really isn't very shareable. We already know that what works better is shorter pieces of content that are more accessible. So if this hour-long programme covers 3 stories, it might be better to make those individual stories available separately. So if you're interested in crop farming and not cattle rearing, you can get the piece of content that you want. This doesn't change much the sound of the radio programme, but it does change the way the programme's put together and how items are built. It means that broadcasters need to think about how individual stories work in isolation, as well as the hour-long programme that gets broadcast. By thinking digital first, or at least digital equal, we can make great radio heard by many, many more people. And isn't that the whole point of what we do? Music for this episode comes from Leo Rosevere's Music for Podcasts, and you can get my weekly newsletter at james.crid.land and get daily media news free at media.info/daily. And until next time, keep listening.